Senate Bill 1 is complicated. Cities, counties, and schools are still examining how it will impact their budgets and their taxpayers. We do know 2/3 of homeowners will save up to $300 a year on their property tax bill. We also know schools throughout the state are going to get far less money than they would have without this change. No matter where you live.
So the overall impact is very complex, and it needs some discussion.
School administrators in your area are trying to understand Senate Bill 1.
It is the most mathematically complex property tax bill that's ever been passed in the state of Indiana.
The bill was a major priority for Indiana's governor to save homeowners money on their property taxes. But when you pay for property taxes, schools get a big chunk. That money ends up paying for things like school buses and bus drivers, maintenance and upgrades to classrooms and buildings, and district administrative pay. Now that homeowners, farmers, and businesses will be paying less property tax, schools will be getting less revenue. Does that concern you to continue to offer the same services while the revenue is essentially not there as well?
Right. So you're correct. It is something that has to be planned for.
We are heavily reliant on our property taxes, and any reduction even in the growth opportunity for future will impact us, definitely.
State Senator Linda Rogers was one of the authors of Senate Bill 1.
We're looking to provide meaningful property tax relief for our homeowners.
Rogers said she wanted to give relief to seniors and veterans. But independent analysts have found that most homeowners in the state will see a savings of under $100 a year, while businesses and farmers could see huge cuts. Those huge cuts are expected to take a big chunk of money from what schools were expecting to receive.
I found that there's not a substantial decrease. It's just that they are not receiving the additional funds that they thought they might be getting.
This was a major topic of discussion in the Senate before lawmakers passed the bill.
What effect will this budget have on school corporations?
Nearly every school corporation will receive more revenue from property taxes in 26, 27, and 28 than they did in 25.
Supporters of the bill say even with the cuts, most schools will be getting more money every year compared to this year. But critics said the school funding won't keep up with rising costs.
I can't fathom how we can sit here and talk about, well, they're still going to have more than next year. Because essentially what we're doing is we're putting the restriction on the growth that should be there.
Let's look at how this will impact our two biggest school corporations. According to the latest fiscal data, South Bend will receive about $83 million in 2025, this year, in property tax revenue. And you can see over the next 3 years that increases, so that in 2028, the district will get about $103 million in property tax revenue. But now, over the next 3 years, this is how much South Bend schools will receive every year. You can see much less than they would have. Similarly, in PHM, under Senate Bill 1, the district will receive much less than they would have otherwise. Supporters of the bill say it's more than they got in 2025, but critics say the cost of goods and services won't keep up with the property tax revenue.
So definitely we will have to fight against inflation.
Despite the loss in the growth potential, administrators in South Bend and PHM say they're preparing.
So first of all, even before this bill or this law happened, we have been trying to cut down on our operational expenditures. And we have been doing that since a long time.
So we plan on the entire tax rate and have been really strategic with our planning for facilities upkeep, maintenance, roofs, things like that.
Both districts don't anticipate having to make major cuts, and they say they have multiple ways of making sure students and teachers aren't impacted.
It's a hiccup, it's a hurdle, right? It's a hurdle we have to take care of in position to, well-laid plans, I guess.
So now is actually a great time to send your kids to South Bend schools because we can weather the storm.
I also asked both administrators about the possibility of a referendum in future years and whether they thought legislators would end up making changes to help hurting school districts.
Thanks for watching. Here's another story you may like, and subscribe to the WSBT 22 YouTube channel.